No Glenn today.
Oh, nothing like starting a stream with a slurp.
There you are. Come on in, everybody. Let me change my Facebook around before I forget. Let me hope I can change my Facebook around.
I'm on the bottom today.
This Facebook keeps trying to
That's
catch
what
up.
she said.
And
we're canceled again right at the start.
Yeah.
Not from Facebook, so it's all good. Now we're public. Come on in, folks. Come on in. We're taking a look today at Contract with God by the great Will Eisner. Here's a couple bumps, and then we'll get right into it.
Holy shit. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
In the time before Atlantis sank and the lands of the world were savage and untamed, one man would claim his destiny. Leaving his Atlantean tribe behind and throwing off the shackles of Lemurian bondage, he sailed the seas as a pirate captain before seizing his place as a king. And now that he has the throne, how long will he be able to keep it? This is the Shadow Kingdom, the classic sword and sorcery tale by Robert E. Howard, adapted by Randy Zimmerman, with artwork by Russ Leach. Available now at fundmycomic.com. Today.
It will be. It's not live yet, but it will be very soon.
It's not live yet. It's a little bit of fine tuning, and we're good to go.
Fund My Comic, huh?
Fundmycomic.com, the Shadow Kingdom, folks. Go over there and take a look. Today's going to be a busy day. Welcome in, everybody. That's Comics by Night. We are looking at A Contract with God. I am your host, Randy Zimmerman. I am editor-in-chief of Arrow Comics, been in this business for decades, and just love comics in general, alternative and independent comics especially. We do this program every Friday morning just to show off some of the great sequential art by the greatest sequential art masters. So we're glad you're here. We hope you enjoy yourself. And if you want to see some of my work, you can go over to arrowcomics.store and catch my latest releases like Calico, Herobot Zero, and Paragon. The Fool is over there, and I believe Alice in Chains is now over there as well. All fun, all different kinds of books. Like doing all sorts of different sequential art. Joining me this morning is Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Russ Leach. I'm a comic book artist from the UK. I have actually spent more than 5 decades loving comics, but only been in the comic book industry since 2010. It's actually my longest career to date, I found out. I've been a coder, I've been a publisher, I've been an art director, creative director, designer, all kinds of things in and out of production. But I've always loved comics, and I settled on it and got back into it. And in that time, I've been able to draw things like Doctor Who, Batman, Ben 10, some stuff for Marvel, lots of independent stuff. My own book, Only Death Can Save Us, and I've wound up here with Arrow and Randy Zimmerman producing The Shadow Kingdom, which you'll be able to back very soon. If you're on the email list, go to russleach.com. You can find out all about me there. You can get on the email list, and I'll tell you as soon as that crowdfunding campaign is live and you are able to purchase your copy of The Shadow Kingdom. Here you go, russleach.com.
Also joining us this morning is Mr. Whiskey. Whiskey, introduce yourself.
Hey there, I'm Whiskey. I'm the lead creative director for Abandon Ricochet. We do 3D modeling for production stuff, or production level modeling, for spin casting, injection molding, all that kind of stuff, 3D printing, and so on and so forth. You can find me at bottom left there at X or Twitter, as it used to be called. Again, if you need anything made of any kind, you can check out some of my work on the page there, and I'll get you hooked up.
All right. It's a contract with God, folks. Considered to be one of the earliest graphic novels, Will is attributed to coining the phrase graphic novel. There were collections and storybooks in sequential art out before this, but Will was always out trying to find a way to legitimize what he does. And this is a book about his experiences in life, growing up in a tenement and being Jewish. This is a first print. Unfortunately, I didn't have him sign it, which I really regret.
Yeah.
October 1978 is the release date on it.
You might not have sold it ever, but your kids are going to love it.
We're never going to sell it. Yeah. I've got his signature in a couple of other books, and Motor City program that I need to find again so that I can scan the cover and post it on the Arrow site, because it says, to Randy, best of luck with Arrow Comics, Will Eisner.
Yeah, we need to expand that Arrow site to have more about you and about the industry and the business. I think
I got to reclaim arrowcomics.com for that.
But yeah, I mean, a first edition print with Will Eisner's signature in would have been a spectacular item.
I do have a first print of Comics and Sequential Art with his signature in.
Oh, really? Ooh,
oh, yeah.
It's almost as good, isn't it?
I have a Spirit collection that they did a limited edition on that's got a Pagel on the cover that he signed and numbered.
Ever thought about taking all this content that you have, all these signatures and stories and books, and then doing a museum about comics? Getting some grant funding?
You don't even want to. My basement is so uncoordinated; it'd take years, I think.
Also, like, I paid for this stuff. Nobody else gets to enjoy it.
Exactly. It's mine. It's mine. Yeah. The daughters have gotten on me about marketing some of the books, because they will have no idea. And when we had that death scare a couple of years ago, that was a big thing. That
I'm gonna keep pushing this museum every day now.
They're worried about me passing. Yeah, the gym museum, that would be great. Maybe after I'm gone. Nita pops in. Indie Comics Network. Please like, share, and subscribe to Indie Comics Network. We bring you daily content now, daily, centered around indie comics and just the love of comics in general. Be sure to follow ICN and all contributing hosts here. Linktree, Indie Comics Network, folks. Please go there. We're really proud of our programming. Levi says, congrats on the new campaign. Good morning, gents. Good morning, Levi. Glad you're here. Always welcome to join us anytime you want, buddy. Hey, Phantasmagorical in the house.
Hey, love that.
Thanks for being here. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Dave. Hope you're doing fine. Good to see you out there, Genuine Comics. Perfect 10. Folks, be on the lookout for those campaigns as well. I think he was showing off the script cover for Perfect 10 number 5 on Facebook yesterday. I have a reprint copy of this, but it's still in my to-read pile. Yeah, I know the feeling. I got a bunch of copies, and I haven't read this book in decades, literally. So, go ahead, Whiskey.
I got a piece of or a contentious thing here about this whole mourning thing. It's morning for some of us, but it's probably afternoon there for Russ. Like,
mid-morning.
No. It's mid-morning. 10. Yeah, quarter past 10. It's still too early, though.
Still too early. Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to make you get up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'm up at all ridiculous hours. I will be up at all ridiculous hours, pushing the Shadow Kingdom. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I'll be on lots of different streams at ridiculous, stupid o'clock in the morning.
Especially with you being 5 hours ahead of us. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it gets bonkers. Yeah.
A lot of these big podcasts happen at night. So, or our night, your late night, late
My
night.
middle of the morning, middle of the
Yeah.
night. Yeah. It's...
You'll be doing comics by night, literally. At 55 Dropsy Avenue, Bronx, New York, not far from the elevated station, stood the Tenement. Like the others, it was built around 1920, when the decaying apartment houses in lower Manhattan could no longer accommodate the flood of immigrants that poured into New York after World War I. A little bit of a exposition here as we go along. Nice shot here. 55 Dropsy Avenue was typical of most tenements. Its tenements were varied. Some came and went. Many remained there for a lifetime, imprisoned by poverty and other factors. It was a sort of micro village, and the world was Dropsy Avenue.
Can you imagine living in that
Era?
Yeah.
In that fashion? Yeah.
Well, nowadays it's very similar. It's just that they've replaced the units with modernized kitchens and countertops.
Yeah.
But very much the same.
Since the following stories were based on life in these tenements during the 1930s, the dirty 30s. They are true stories. Only the telling and portrayals have converted them to fiction. So says Will. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Whiskey.
Oh, I was just saying it's the only change really is that nowadays only rich people can afford those tenements.
Yeah.
Who wants to live in the city anyway?
Absolutely.
Nobody.
No.
Fortunately, it's where I live.
All day the rain poured down on the Bronx without mercy.
See, Glenn's missing out here because
he
a
is.
big part of what this is about is the lettering.
Yeah, it is.
Look at, I mean, that first phrase there, which is done in, bold, and he's rendered the lettering.
Yeah,
it's fabulous, and
I can tell
it's part of it. It's not just a bit of text over the top of the image.
I was going to say, you can tell he's having fun with it too. Yeah.
Is that one page also copied into Will Eisner's A Guide for Sequential Art?
Probably. Yeah, he uses a lot of his work as examples to back up what he talks about in the book. So, yeah. I'm sure it is.
That does look wet.
It does. Very wet. He looks heavy. Thinner lines in the background. Just great working stuff. Great looking stuff. Guy walking here along the bottom. Just to get you moving. Only the tears of 1,000 weeping angels would cause such a deluge. And come to think of it, maybe that is exactly what it was. Look at that. That's just great.
That's just, yeah.
After all, this was the day Frimmy Hirsch buried Rochelle, his daughter.
Well, that's just sad.
That's why the angels are crying. Inside the doorway, the lettering is here. Not so unusual. A father brings up a child with care and love, only to lose her, plucked as it were from his arms by an unseen hand, the hand of God. It happens to lots of people every day. To others, maybe.
Oh.
Look at that defeat. Just
the mood that he's creating.
Yeah.
Just.
And these are all based on like they said, it's true stories or.
Yeah, they're true stories from his childhood. Not to Fremy Hirsch. Why not to Fremy Hirsch? That's a fair question.
Wow. It just gets you right in the feel bads.
Yeah. Should not have happened to Fremy Hirsch because Fremy Hirsch had a contract with God. And a contract.
The lighting on his face there.
Yeah. And here as well, off of that candle. Contract was a contract, is a contract. It was, after all, a solemn agreement of many years. How long ago was it? Here we go. Fremish was helpful and kind. Fremala. After his parents died, he became the childish and Pisk. Thank you for your kindness. God will reward you. War, terrible attack. I'm just going to keep going through here until you tell me to stop. So
yeah, it's just too good.
So Hirsch obeyed. 2 nights later, the trail deep in the forest. Maybe is God just? Justice is not in God's hands. Where else would it be? Oh, just, yeah. If justice is not in God's hand, where else would it be? If I am God, or good, will God know it? Why not? Does it not say that God is all-knowing? And I will make a contract with God. And that night, in the cold forest, he wrote a contract with a small stone. A little stone tablet in his pocket. Fremy Hirsch settled in New York City, where he found shelter in the Hasidic community. There he took religious instruction and devoted himself to good works. Faithfully and piously, he adhered to all the terms of his contract with God. Became a respected member of the synagogue. On and on. So no one wanted a child born of God. Knows what kind of parents. Fremy Hirsch adopted the baby himself and named her Rochelle, after his mother, and devoted himself to her with all his love. Grew up blossoming in the warmth and nourishment of Fremke's gentle heart and pious ways. She was indeed his child, the joy of his years. And one day, in the springtime, her life, Rochelle felt ill, suddenly and fatally. Daughter is dead. No, not to me. You can't do this. We have a contract. Look at that. A little line work here. Everything's focused in on him. Just great stuff. Night, Frankie Hirsch confronted God. You violated our contract. And the old tenement trembled under the fury of the dialogue. God requires that men honor their agreements. And is not God also so obligated?
This, I mean, what size is this? Is this like a digest size?
It is a little larger than digest size.
Right. What
It
a
is,
wonderful presentation. It's like a storybook, but it isn't.
6 inches by
Yeah.
9 inches.
Yeah.
In its original form. It's been reprinted a couple of times in different sizes. I think they've always kept to the sepia tones, though, the dark browns on the
Yeah.
brown paper. Yeah,
Beautiful.
that was meant. Almost cinematic.
Mm.
Threw it out the window. Well, during the days of mourning that followed the funeral, the rain fell without pause. Friends came, each offering Hirsch the usual words of comfort, which he accepted in stony silence. Man, look at that rain.
Mike Jimmy's here. Hi, Mike. Dave's in the room
Jimmy,
as well.
welcome to join in. What up, lovelies? We're looking at a contract with God, Mike Jimmy. If you want to come in and you're pretty sure you're part of the Sunday Funnies group, the link is there. So you're welcome aboard.
Wow.
Sorry to be so depressing so early in the morning. The end of the days of Shiva, in the dawn of the 8th day, the sun rose in a clear sky. Frankie Hirsch said the morning prayer for the last time. Then, with the deliberation, he shaved off his beard and walked to the 186th Street Bank. Mr. Hirsch, you want to buy the parcel on Dropsy Avenue? Yes. You know it. Tenement at number 55. Wow, it's an expensive piece of property. What expensive? Please, Mr. Johnson, I know you foreclosed on it twice. So for the mortgage, I'll buy it. Believe me, it ain't worth it. But it's a start. I don't know. I think we can make a deal. We now have Mike Jimmy in the house. Mike, introduce yourself.
Good morning, lovelies. I am Mike Jimmy DeBrun, creator of Lava Cora and CEO of Fairy Resonance. And I figured, you know what, might as well hang out again. Got work to do, and today is not baby day for me, so I'm allowed to do things other than that.
Okay. We are looking at A Contract with God by Will Eisner, 1976.
Which humbles us all.
Yep.
No, I don't know that one. This is completely new to me.
You're familiar with Eisner, though, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yep. This is Eisner's first in a long line of graphic novels that he did. In fact, he coined he's attributed to coining the term graphic novel, though there were always long sequential art albums and stories before this happened. But this is Eisner's first graphic novel, and one that he kind of a tradition he kept up after this. I believe he did a graphic novel a year until his passing.
That's impressive, actually.
There's a long list of books. He adapted classics and told all sorts of different stories. His life tenement stories like this one, the book on New York that we're going to be looking at on Sunday. I've got a couple of them here. His last book was on the Zionist papers, kind of a scandal amongst the Jewish community that turned out to be kind of a grift.
Look at concentrate on the art here for a second. Look at the 2 pages here and their contrast. The silhouette on the or the reverse silhouette, if you will, on the left, and then on the right, it's like the back. None of this had to be accidentally, clearly planned.
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. All of this is intentional.
It's a master class in storytelling.
Oh, definitely is. At this point in his career, Eisner's gone through conventional corporate comics. He co-authored the Quality line of books, Human Bomb, Black Condor, Ray. Did comic strips for a while, did a Spirit comic strip, did the Spirit through the self-syndicated through the newspapers. They figured that there was 6 million copies of every Spirit story out there at one point that was circulated every Sunday in the Sunday papers, and especially all over the country. I think there were a couple places outside the U.S. that carried the Spirit section. Then after that, he went and worked for the. He went into World War II and come out with an idea to start doing instructional manuals for the Army. And shortly after the war, he got one government contract after the next, doing instructional books in comic form in order for the infantrymen. They found the infantrymen never read the guidebook, but they would sit and read the comic. And he had his own magazine for a while, PS, I believe it was called, that went to the servicemen and had comic stories in it and instructions on, all the things you needed to know, like the different parts of your gun and, proper maintenance or your Jeep and that kind of thing. And
Useful.
he got quite a chunk of money off of it. And he always retained the rights to the Spirit. So the Spirit was the Spirit sections were reprinted a number of different times. Warren Magazine and Kitchen Sink reprinted almost the entire run. And then he started doing graphic novels here in 76 and kept doing it until he passed, I think in 2003, I think it was 3 or 4. Now they dedicate the first week of March, which this is March 1st. They like to call it Eisner Week in celebration of his birth and his body of work. So that's why we're looking through A Contract with God today. We'll be looking through New York on Sunday. So he has a long, large body of work. So what was so hard about that? Besides, who am I hurting? In a year, I'll buy back the bonds. So a big, whatever that is, Timmins. So Fremke Hirsch became the new owner of 55 Dropsy Avenue. Raise the rents 10%, Mr. Craig. Mr. Hirsch, from when you was a tenant here, I was always with the owner. I'm a loyal super. But what about Mrs. Kelly? She's on a widow's pension from Ireland. No exceptions. Losing his daughter made him a little rough, or a little hard. You'll also cut out on steam heat 10% from now on. The tenants will make their own repairs. I don't want to know from no complaints. These Jews, yesterday a poor tenant, today the owner. How do they do it? Thinner line work in the background there to drop him back.
The lines are so natural.
Yeah.
Great brush work.
Yeah.
I assume it's a brush. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's brush. Believed he used a Kolinsky brush for years. Out of Russia. It was a camel hair brush. Bill Mesner Loebs showed me one that he bought. He was really proud to have gotten a hold of it because it wasn't cheap. but he takes the brush and he smashes it literally on the paper a couple times, and then he takes it and washes it out in water, and he just rolls it right down to a perfect point.
Oh wow.
Says it'll take all the abuse you wanna put on it, and it'll last you your lifetime. That's what he said.
Gotta give me one of those then.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he still has it, but I think it was Kalinsky. I'm pretty sure the name of it. It's Camel Hair, if I'm not mistaken. Then the year Fremke Hirsch gleaned enough out of the property to acquire the one next door. Within the next 3 years, he accumulated the beginning of a real estate empire. His success appeared to be as much the result of uncanny luck as anything else. You're going to pull down the L. Now your property will triple in value. Remember that garbage dump you were stuck with last year? Well, now the city wants it for a garage. They'll pay well. Yeah. Keeps getting richer and richer. Before long, he took a mistress. Shike.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and took up a lifestyle he felt more appropriate to his station. Traded
I think
buildings.
it's a Shiksa.
Shiksa? Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
You know, Seinfeld. The Seinfeld. You seen that one?
Okay.
Never seen this with Lorraine, and she's the Shiksa. You never seen that episode?
I didn't watch much Seinfeld.
No. Okay. It's a funny episode.
Seinfeld and Big Bang Theory were two series I could never stomach.
Not really.
So,
I mean,
oh
like,
yeah.
I don't. Big Bang wasn't great, but Seinfeld was pretty decent.
Seinfeld, I watched a couple episodes. It just sorry, but this is just my opinion. It just really bored the hell out of me. So I liked Kramer a lot, and I did see the episode where they took all the cans, piled them in a truck, and were driving to Michigan in order to cash in on the deposit. That was funny. But it was after we had passed the 10-cent deposit on cans. They were figuring they were going to be rich.
Oh boy. Oh, they did that here now since last year. The amount of garbage littering the streets has never been this high since public garbage cans have been invented.
Yeah.
It's breaking, like it's killing the point.
Mm-hmm. Well, it got to it kept the streets cleaner. I'll tell you that. The deposit
it doesn't
law.
here.
Yeah.
No, the PET. Yeah, but like the cans, no. Because because people don't people don't bring them back because they're nasty as all hell.
Yeah.
And then, so you have hobos and random people, really, going through the dumpsters, throwing everything on the side, taking the cans, and then walking away. Like it's such a downgrade.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really bad.
See, I didn't even see that problem. Just know that the streets got cleaned up quite a bit, but they started using a lot of the convicts too to go through and clean out the streets. Yeah, I'm probably a lot more rural than you are. If you're living around a lot of dumpsters, yeah.
Can't do that now. It's against their human rights.
Make them work? Oh no, they don't have any human rights.
Still do that.
They still do that. Oh, I wish they'd do that in the UK.
That's what the orange jumpsuits
it's still modern
are for.
slave labor.
The Queen's police state of the UK will probably come and arrest you if you drop a can in the street, or if you misgender someone online.
That's definitely.
They're not going to come and do anything if somebody burgles your house.
Yeah, I'll do.
Oh, of course not.
Our bigger cities are having that problem now. Yeah.
You guys want to know the etymology of the word shiksa? I pulled it up. If anybody's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, please. Yeah.
Or etymology. It means in derived from Hebrew term
Mhm.
sheksit, meaning abomination, impure, or object of loathing. It is primarily used for a slang or a derogatory for a Jewish girl or woman who does not observe Jewish precepts. Used especially by Orthodox Jews. So
Okay.
it just literally means like, you know,
Monster,
Oh.
pretty much. Yeah.
yeah.
Poor. Yeah.
Tart.
Look at the lighting here on his face.
It's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's nothing here. You know, no
No.
lighting right there except for down in the cleavage area. Just great. Why don't you sell those
Mr.
crummy buildings, Finn? Why don't you mind your own business? No, and you got like a black hole inside of you. Don't drink? Yeah, that's it. Have a drink. My father used to say it filled the black hole inside him. Come on, baby, try it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's such a loaded statement.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh boy.
Well, that's something. I'm not sure if like he's an older gent, so like he's doing well for himself, but
Mhm.
at the same time, yeesh.
Yeah, no.
He's not a happy person to start with, though.
Yeah.
Well, I should become Jewish.
What wonderful language from the girl. It's like it's of the area, the geographical aspect. You can imagine. You can imagine her talking like
Again, that lighting here.
Harley from the Batman cartoon.
Yeah.
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 The Joycey accent, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't even go to no church.
Brickwork here. Yeah. What'd I say wrong? Yeah. You can see his pain.
If she sounded like I think she sounds, I'd be in pain too.
Yeah. Very rich now. Everything I touch turns to gold, as they say. A few years ago, I used the congregation bonds as collateral, and now I repay you. So I'm returning them with interest. We're all grateful. Now I need something from you. From us, what can we give a healthy man? A wealthy man. You can write for me a new contract between me and God. Herbert Hirsch recounted this history of his former contract. That contract was written when I was a child, so who knows? Maybe it was poorly written. Mr. Hirsch, it's a private matter between you and God. You are learned in the word of God, and if you know his word, you know his will. It's great.
Bold
word.
statement.
Yeah.
See, you look at the things that he's drawing here. Okay, Eisner, I presume, is Jewish.
He is of Jewish descent, but I don't think he was a regular practitioner.
Right, but he was from a Jewish background.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yet, if somebody were to draw these images now, they would be accused of anti-Semitism.
And I think there have been calls on him for that, and it's basically shut up and understand the context of the work.
Yeah, I don't quite. I mean, like if old men with crooked noses look like that, then that's what they look like.
Yeah,
you can't just change it because you don't like it. It's
right.
like when they did the cartoon of the tennis player. What's her face? The two sisters.
It's Serena
Williams. The one that's won all
Serena
the
Venus.
stuff. And they did a cartoon, and people saying, "Well, that's racist." It's like, why is it racist? Because you're accentuating certain aspects of the. And this wasn't like the hideous way things were done back in the day. Okay.
Yeah.
This was just an accentuation of the elements of her face. Okay,
Mhm.
that's not racist. That's cartooning.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just wipe the world of facts because you don't like the fact.
Well, that's a lot of the heat that he took for the Ebony character.
Mm.
You know, even though he wrote him as a human being, he was drawing him as a
Exactly,
African American at the time, and
yeah,
not
and that was
looking
badly,
back on it. Yeah,
yeah, that was badly drawn, and you look back at that and think, well, that's a mistake. And he wasn't happy about it. In the end, he realised what he was doing there.
oh yeah,
But to draw an old Jewish man with a crooked nose, if that's what he sees, if that's the thing that's part of his experience, then it's not anti-Semitic. It's simply drawing what he's seen, drawing
right.
what his experience is.
Yeah.
Not like we haven't seen a bunch of wizards look exactly like that.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Very true.
I mean, if you look at that guy's face on the far left, take the skull cap off and put right on the far left, far left.
Yeah.
There, that
First
guy.
panel.
No, left that one. If you take his
Yeah.
skull cap off and put on a tall wizard's hat, he looks exactly like the guy from Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
No, he's a
It's
straight
the
up
guy
Merlin.
with a crooked nose.
Yeah,
And yet, if you were to draw that now, there would be from certain quarters people would say, "Oh, anti-Semitism." It's like, no,
The
There
lack
might have
of
been back
education
then
is
too.
frightening.
maybe, but I think people were more open to representations and interpretations, especially from someone like Eisner, if he has a background, if he has a Jewish background.
Well,
Russ, you gotta-
especially with comics, because comics are dealing. You know, the pictures are iconic, so that they can be easily identified. And unfortunately, that slides into stereotype.
It does.
Way too easy. Yeah.
It does, but there's stereotypes and there's stereotypes.
True.
Isn't there? It's like, there's
Russ, you got a simple phrase that you often say that is an easy to sum up to anybody that that brings up the idea of turning this seminal work into something ideological or political. Right?
Oh, don't do it.
No, you just get stuff.
Get stuffed. Yeah. Get stuffed. Yeah. No,
I set you up, and you just,
thank you very much. And I lack
missed it.
the ability to knock it out of the park. If you don't like it, don't read it. Get stuffed. It's the problem with people shouting bigotry and racism all the time is that it devalues the words, it devalues the term, and we should be celebrating our differences, and comedy should be laughing at our differences. Okay, because that's how we come together as a race. I mean, the human race, like together. All these differences, they're skin deep or they're culturally deep, and it's like we need to be celebrating the differences and laughing at them and joking and looking at them rather than just imagining that they're not there and that we can't talk about them. And I think that's what maybe you can see in some of the older comics, not the really ones that were obviously abusive, but stuff like this, you can see that in there because it's a representation, it's a presentation of what he knows.
Yeah. Let's look at the cross hatching here.
The long lines on the right hand side there as well.
Yeah.
Skip's in the house.
Skip's in the house.
Hey.
Dude, I have so much to say about this book.
There is so much to say about it.
It is. So he offers the property at 55 Dropsy Avenue to the elders at the synagogue if they write him a contract with God. And they're discussing it. Would it not be blasphemy if we deviate from the law? We will not deviate, we will abbreviate. It's not a religion, a contract between man and God. For what is Hirsch asking for after all? He's asking to provide him with a guiding document so that he might live in harmony with God. We truly Deny him this? So they get to work. So in the days that
I can
followed,
only
the
see
elders-
this go wrong.
Yeah. So in the days that followed, the elders toiled, interrupted only by the Sabbath and certain days of prayer. Last, they presented the document to Hirsch. Yes, yes. Ah, yes, yes. Now I will live up to my bargain. Here is the lease to the tenement in the name of the synagogue. Frankie Hirsch, you are a man of your word.
Here you go. Skip has some of the background here, because we were talking about it being a real story and his daughter dying. And said apparently when Will was a boy, his family wasn't allowed in the synagogue because they didn't have the required fee.
Ah,
So you can see where his approach comes from.
his daughter
My-
died of cancer as a
yeah.
young teen. Oh,
Yeah.
when Will was a boy.
My parents had my upbringing is a similar thing. My parents, my mother was beaten by her first husband, and she left with the kids and married my father, and I was born afterwards. And she asked for help not only from her parents but from the church because she was a churchgoer, and they didn't want to know because she was divorcing that man.
Ah,
And so I was
Yeah.
brought up with a healthy, I believe, with a healthy skepticism of all religions.
Mhm.
For me personally, I see them all exactly the same. The only one that kind of pokes its head above for me is Buddhism. That kind of pops its head above the parapet, as it were. But the rest of them, I have a healthy disdain for. Although I have learned to appreciate the community aspects of religion and the good things that it does do. But so I had that upbringing, so I can totally understand where you would like lash out, or if not lash out, at least have that disdain for a particular religion like that.
Skip says there's a fantastic audiobook about Eisner. I've listened while drawing countless times. Yeah.
Cool. Try and get hold of that.
All that night,
Hmm.
Hirsch sat reading the document again and again. He studied every word with great care.
Do you know what I always get from Eisner's work? No fear.
Yeah.
He doesn't fear the space. He doesn't fear the tools. He just draws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Just look at this page. No borders.
No.
Just lines.
No.
There's a little thin line here for the top. Thin line around the balloons, hand drawn. It's all done by hand here. I don't know if he even used an Ames guide there on the lettering. He might have, and he might not have as well.
It looks fairly open and casual. And I love the way he's on the left-hand side. So the stuff that he's done inside the bubbles has got a kind of a form to it. Whereas the stuff he does outside is serifed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And after all, I'm not too old to marry. I shall have a daughter. I shall name her Rochelle. Yes, yes. Look at that. This time I will not violate our contract. This time I have 3 witnesses. This time I, my chest black. That exact moment of Hearst's last earthly breath, a mighty bolt of lightning struck the city. Not a drop of rain fell. Only an angry wind swirled about the tenants.
What a way to go.
There's a lot of Eisner's spirit work isn't his at all. Lee J. Ames and Wally Wood, Jack Kirby, yeah, he had a lot of assistance on it, but he was kicking out 7 pages a week too. There was a while there, I believe there was a good chunk of it that was mostly Eisner, but when Eisner was in the war, he would send the scripts over and had a lot of the people that worked on the quality comics line do the artwork. Lou Fine and Jack Cole all assisted during that time. And then there at the end, he was busy with his PS magazine and getting that coordinated and running or running on a regular basis. The spirit section got cut down quite a bit. Wally would come in for a few weeks and almost a month and a half, I think, and did the Spirit on the Moon story, and then he stopped self-syndicating and stopped the Spirit section.
Can you imagine the conversation after he's like up in the clouds, and then the contract, he's got the contract in hand. He's like, this time I won't violate the contract, eh?
Yeah. Dropsy Avenue, the old tenants seemed to tremble in the storm. Reminded the tenants of that day years ago when Fremke Hirsch argued with God and terminated their contract. Real estate tycoon dies. Here in the paper. See that wind blowing? It's fantastic.
Beautiful work.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
Epilogue. Around midnight, fires started on the roof of the Dropsy Avenue tenement. Soon the flames, spreading quickly, consumed all of the old buildings in the street, all except one. Miraculously, the tenement at 55 Dropsy Avenue was unharmed. And it happened that a boy, Shalom Krex, was the hero of the day. I thank you for your bravery and thoughtfulness. God will reward you, my boy. What did he do? Him? He saved 3 kids and led old, was that Mrs.
Kelly.
Mrs. Kelly to safety. Yeah, what a good boy. Get the smoke here. The lines. Just great. Shlomi was a new boy because he was so different. Became the object of much bullying. One day, not long after the fire, he was trapped in the alley of number 55 by 3 toughs.
He was strapped, and then he
was strapped, and he was trapped and then strapped. Yeah.
Brings out the guns, and then just like,
yeah,
action sequence starts. Well,
you want a contrast here using the solid line works around it. Draw your attention right to the focus. Nice overhead shot here. Wife. Look, it's
not just a nice shot. That's a beautiful shot. Look at that.
Yeah. The clothes on the line back here. Fire escape.
Well, let's talk about the one on the right, but
here.
But
yeah. That perspective is just spot on.
Yeah.
What do you think, Russ? What's your take?
What?
No, on the second panel on the second page. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, what do you think?
It's simplicity, isn't it? It's like it looks like there's a bright light, a wonderful shadow on that bottom figure going up the wall. And then it's a masterclass in what not to draw.
Yeah.
It's just so straightforward.
He shows the bricks here in the shadow.
And they're a very simple version of bricks as well. He's not over rendered them.
Yeah.
Oh, there's black blobs done.
Yeah. And then coming into the third panel, he's cleverly just angled the camera. He's come down behind the character so you can get a good look at how they're throwing the stone.
Yeah.
You've got real motion in that stone, and you wouldn't get as much of that maybe in the over the top version, over the top view. And then although the one thing he has done, which is a little trifle weird, is that he's changed the light source. It's actually gone 90 degrees, so that's a little weird. But then he doesn't care. It's comic
down and around. Yeah.
I think as artists, we can sometimes get a little bit obsessed with where the light's coming from, where the shadows are falling. If you look at, and I say you look at something like Buscema and Alcala on Conan, you can see the shadows, you can see where the light source is. He's doing that, but also it just adds stuff in because it looks cool, because it makes the image shine off the paper. So that's like, maybe it's a deliberate mistake, who knows? But
I was going to say it looks like he's using the lighting as part of the composition.
Yeah, but it's swapped 90 degrees.
Up.
So it's a little odd, but he doesn't care, and it doesn't unless you're looking for it, unless you're analyzing it, you don't notice. Again, wonderful where he's put the bubbles there on the right hand panel. He's not bothered rendering up behind them. He's just filled the area on the right there, where he's throwing the stone. He's just filled the area with the bubbles.
Yeah,
it's just not, it's a masterclass in simplicity.
Not sure who you are, Momentum Rex.
Some bad comments in the comment section.
More
the what?
Some trolls in the comment section again.
No, we have someone in the green room named Momentum Rex. Momentum, who are you?
That's it's Rex. Devil Flyer.
Rex. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, how are you?
Hey, good.
Hi, Rex.
Hey, Russ. It's good to see you.
Yeah,
it's good to see Mike again. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, no, I got married and got a kid, so I've been very busy.
That's it. That's the end of your life.
Yeah.
No. It actually just started. It feels great.
That's right. Good attitude, mate. Good attitude.
Oh, a little. I'm sorry, I'm late. Will Eisner. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah. Rex, you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Oh, yeah.
Give them a quick rundown who you are.
Rex Christian, live in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Skip says Rex is Devil Flyer. Yeah. Over there on Fund My Comic right now.
Yeah.
And just a comic lover from way back, I guess over 50 years now. And just happy to be here.
Oh, you're an old guy like Russ and me then.
Yeah. Well, let me come on camera and show you my white hair. Sorry, I just got up out of bed. So
that's fine.
Anyway.
Yeah, like your bookshelves.
That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting.
Yeah, okay. That's all you're getting. Yeah. My father actually made these two.
Yeah.
When we were boys. Yeah.
Sweet.
And that is a shower back there.
So you never have to leave the room. That's great.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's early here, cool. It's only 5 a.m. here.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. I'm in the middle of Michigan, so yeah, it's only 5 here. Whiskey is in Toronto. It's 5 over there too.
Okay.
Well, it's 6:04 a.m. now.
6:04 now. Yeah. Oh yeah, Arkansas. You're an hour behind us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5 there. Yeah, welcome aboard.
So I was just thinking about, we're talking about simplicity. There was 2 quotes that came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
One is like, you spend, I don't remember who said, I think it was Wrightson, but I'm not sure. It could have been Williamson, one of the EC guys, because I quoted it on, I put it up on Twitter a long time ago, or not too long ago, but it was, the one quote was, you spend a lifetime learning what to leave off the page, right?
Right.
The other one here is, one of my favorites is, a designer knows he has achieved perfection, not when there's nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away.
Right.
There you
And
go.
I know Alex Toth kind of
Yeah.
I think it might have
prescribed to
been
that.
tough.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
I was thinking about Eisner and talking about him yesterday. I mean, just the and Golden Age comics in general had a simplicity to them.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't necessary, they didn't put it on the page. I mean, a lot of that was expediency, but when it come to Eisner, it was, just his spirit, even before his spirit stuff, going back to the late 30s when he's doing Centaur and a lot of other things. You see that kind of develop in his art. Hey,
Listen,
Skip.
you guys have a green room, and I've never come on. Skip, if you've got Facebook, send me a PM on Facebook. I'll send you a link.
Just
Here we
don't
go.
eat all the
Let's-
Cheetos.
Say what?
Just don't eat all the Cheetos.
Don't eat all the Cheetos. Yeah, in the green room. They're a little stale. Probably need to be replaced at this point. So I got Wart's older than Rex. He's still a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 58, but thank you for that.
Skip, if you're over on if you're on Facebook, friend me and send me a DM. I'll send you a link.
I think I have skipped as a friend.
If
on
you're not a
Facebook.
friend of
Let
mine
me-
already, we'll put you in the group chat so that you'll always have the link available to you. You can come in whenever you want.
It's labeled retirement home.
Which there you go. Which particular book are we looking at here?
This is a contract with God.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
I got you on Twitter, Skip. I'll go send you a link.
1976. Yeah, Mike, you can set him up.
Here you go.
If you can, get on Facebook and I'll throw you into the Sunday Funnies group chat, and you'll be welcome every Friday morning or Sunday morning. Anytime we have a topic you want to chime in on, you're welcome to come in.
There we go.
What is coming up on Sunday then, the topic?
This Sunday is a pre-recorded program because I have a show in
okay.
Midland. We've already recorded it. Glenn was there, Russ was there, Whiskey was there. We looked at the New York graphic novel by Eisner.
You give somebody an extra day in a year and see what they come up with.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But this month, we're probably going to concentrate on some barbarian work because we've got a campaign running over on Fund My Comic for Shadow Kingdom.
Now this particular book here, like, the 9-page grid, right? I mean, he knew this was going to be a downsized book and kind of formatted the panels accordingly. Kind of cut down on it.
He had done a couple of joke books that were paperback book size.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very likely he intended this originally to be a regular paperback size. Then they printed it a little larger. That's why it's so easy to read.
Yeah, as you
Especially
get older, you appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had done a joke book and like a UFO book before this, I think, that regular paperbacks that were on the shelves. Silly little books he probably made a little chunk of money off of.
Mm-hmm.
It's writing on this stone. It's a contract with God. I will keep it. That evening on the stoop, the tenement, Shlomi Kirix signed his name below that of Fremy Hirsch, thereby entering into a contract with God. Dead.
Interesting, the light above him and everything
Hmm.
in context with the text.
Yeah.
Sort of the light representing the enlightenment or God in the panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Symbolism.
Potentially unintentional.
Yeah, just haphazard. It's just coincidence.
Not thought out at all.
No.
More line work here. A street singer during the early 30s at the depth of the Great Depression. There appeared in the alleys of the tenements street singers. These wandering street minstrels sang popular songs and segments of operatic arias, which in the acoustics of the place sounded surprisingly professional. And the line work here.
I know, right? Just the edge of
Yeah.
I hope he was right-handed.
You
Because
hope
if
he
he-
was.
Yeah, because if he was a lefty and he had to do that right wall, that's pain. In traditional links, that is absolute pain.
I don't know.
What do you think about this artist, Russ?
Eisner.
Yeah.
Russ is asleep.
No, I'm not asleep. I'm slightly distracted on occasion.
Right.
There's well, I was talking about those panels earlier. It's a masterclass in simplicity. We were talking about what not to put in, what to put in. He manages to create beautiful rendering in a very casual, what appears to be a very casual way, as a pretty much a complete mastery of lighting. Whether that lighting's in the right direction or not, he doesn't care. What he does is he creates an environment for a story to be told. I mean, the framing of this around the text. That's the other thing that Glenn was talking about the other day, is that his text is literally part of what he's doing. Whereas a lot of us, as artists, we follow a script and we leave room for text, but we don't do the text ourselves.
Another visual element.
Yeah, it's part of an element, but it's like this wonderful synergy of the whole thing together, and it makes his work, I think, unique.
And no visual element really takes you out of the story.
No, nothing. No, he does what people like Neil Adams did when Neil Adams was creating fantastical layouts, and adding to his story. So we all love 9-panel grids and 6-panel grids because the artists we love were able to fill those grids so successfully and so well that it didn't matter that it was a dull grid, because the artwork was just so immense and so powerful, right? And then along came Neil Adams, who again in his own right is a fantastic illustrator, and he decided to start, along with a few other people at the time, start playing with the panels. We look at Steranko or Stalin or whatever, and you see the way the panels are changed and the layouts are changed, and it adds fun, it adds pace. But what Eisner was doing is he wasn't playing with layouts. He was literally just illustrating the story. It's almost like it falls out on the page.
That's interesting what you say about the lighting, that he didn't kind of care about natural lighting
I think he cared about natural lighting, but to him the most important thing was the story. So if you had to change the light from one panel to the next, so be it. It doesn't matter. As long as the story
I think he used it to aid the composition of the piece too.
Exactly. Yeah. What I'm saying
is guide your eye.
Exactly. Yeah. Those 2 panels we saw earlier, he changed the lighting source by 90 degrees from one panel to the next. Yeah. And it didn't matter. A lot of us, and me included, would be like, oh no, my shadow's got to go to the right. It has to. But he didn't care. What he did was he just went, oh, well, my light source is wherever it works. Well, obviously, he wouldn't. I doubt very much, trying to see into his thoughts, that he would have put the shadow in front, because that would have looked odd. But the fact that he changed the source from 90 degrees it doesn't matter. What matters is the lighting, exactly as what Randy's saying there. It created the environment to tell the story, and that's all that matters. I mean, again, there's light. Look at the lighting in that left-hand page there. It's very subtle when you think about it, but it's powerful, and it's framed exactly what Randy was saying just now. It's framed the story, the text, and the main character.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
let's look at that. It's just great. Different windows, fire escape there.
Yeah, it's an intense shot.
The environment,
gorgeous.
the environment becomes a character all in itself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep.
Definitely.
No outline here, just the bricks. Very little line.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous 1-point perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, if that page on the right doesn't immerse you into the scene and the story.
Yeah, no, like it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And again, the text just right in the middle of the page, right in the scene, it becomes a part of the whole thing.
Nowadays, you got to pay.
Those old metal trash cans that you don't see anymore.
Nowadays, you need a $50 license to be able to do that. With this
Sing in the street.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah. Yep.
You get to see the government salivating over this picture. He's making money.
Yeah.
How dare he?
Oh, they don't care if you make money as long as they can tax it.
Yeah. Get their taste. Gets dropped a note.
Yes, that beautiful progression there.
No matter how he mixes it up, he always seems to guide your eye, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's getting dolled up.
It's kind of like character. It's kind of like caricature, isn't it? I guess the whole thing's caricature.
Yeah, a little.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. We have so much
He doesn't shy away from stereotypes, does he?
No, here and there, yeah, or just trying to draw as much real life as he can.
Yeah.
And nowadays, this would offend somebody for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I don't think that he looked at it as stereotyping, but
No.
This is a strong, independent, large woman. I would imagine this is absolutely nailed on to today's zeitgeist.
Yeah.
She's in charge. She's large.
Folds here on the knee. Yeah.
They're offended either way. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, when they're always looking to be offended, they'll find something eventually.
See, that's an intimate scene. Them sitting down at the table and sharing a meal is always sort of an intimate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just leaps off the page, doesn't it?
Got something to eat. This fruit is wax. Yeah. Starving
No.
Bum. She's got a story. For years, I sang in concert walls and with opera companies all over the world. Then I married. Husband was a drunkard. He beat me. He was insanely jealous. Often he was sick. I stopped singing and gave lessons so I could take care of it.
He knows when to open it up and not put any framing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Mm.
What do you think about the text? Probably the text is pretty economical as well, right? If it's not essential, he doesn't put it in the dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, it's been doing it for a long, long time at this point. So,
Right. You know, I can see. I wonder if Mike Plug was influenced by him. I imagine.
oh yeah, I'm sure he was.
Because I can see some Mike Plugish type, you know, in this work.
There's a lot of that inking style there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's often a forgotten great who's still creating comics.
Mm-hmm. So many great guys out there. By guys, I mean people in general. We were looking at Ramona Fradon a week or two ago.
What was that 80s book, Wolvington or something? It looked like his art style. Oh, we get.
You're thinking Journey by Bill Loebs?
Yeah, Journey. Yep.
Yeah, Wolverine McAllister. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Bill was all Eisner. Yeah. He was very
Heavily influenced. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Sing to me. Is she straightening up his necktie there in the last panel?
Yeah, she's tightening his collar there.
Yeah.
Together we'll create the golden baritone.
I've stepped out for a second and then come back, and we're canceled again.
Not completely. We should be okay.
Just you.
Just
We're still early in the morning, and this is art, so we'll see.
it's art, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what she said.
Look at that work here, line work. Just amazing.
Yeah, forget the woman. You know, let's check out the brickwork.
Yeah. That's my theory. Yeah,
She's built like a brick.
shadow here. She is.
Yeah, again, look, the lighting on the internal panel.
It's built like a bowl of porridge.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. You know, just
Made her day, though.
old style phone there.
Yeah. It's the 30s.
Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, architecture, cars, everything had a flair and a style.
Yeah. Close on the line here.
That we've kind of lost, I think.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
When did the Art Deco period kind of end?
30s.
Was it the 30s? That was
Yeah.
like they had still up to the 50s.
30s killed it. Yeah.
It kind of dropped style for the war.
Yeah.
So, in a lot of ways, went from the Roaring
Well, the
20s to the Depression 30s.
Yeah, the Depression really, yeah.
Richie's still had it though, you know. It's everybody else.
Art
is trying to
Deco
get
more
by.
in the 20s, early or the teens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
lot of art styles during that time trying to assert themselves and become dominant, you know, in the art. seeing?
There's going to try to put this right. There is a lot of Deco influence in Germany
Mm-hmm.
during the Reich period. Yeah, the the eagles and stuff that they used, I think, had a that same kind of feel to it.
Well, you had the Bauhaus movement too, right?
Yeah.
And Dadaism.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have nowadays? What do they call it?
Throw it up against a wall and see what sticks.
Triggered. Yeah.
Triggered.
We call the art style of today triggered. Sums it up.
I don't know.
No,
You
but
can
like the art.
tape a
Go ahead.
banana to a wall and make more money than I make in a year. There you go.
Well, I meant like the architecture, obviously, but yeah, you know, it works. It's good allegory.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably seen this from cover to cover. Overall, what do you think is his overarching story that he's trying to tell here?
The whole theme of the book, I think, is tenement life. He's retelling a bunch of stories that from people that he experienced back in his youth.
Yeah.
Can I grab a soapbox for a second here for a moment?
How big of a soapbox?
It's a small soapbox. It's not really a soapbox, but like it's one of the things I noticed about this particular age that we're living in particular the last 20 some odd years, is it doesn't feel like, you know how you can go back to the 40s, and then you got the 30s and in the 20s, and you can see clear delineations between the ages.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it just seems like there's very, very little to signify the passing of each age. And I think that's going to get worse and worse and worse as we progress throughout the future. So when we get into 2040, 2050, unless there's some major shakeups, and design and stuff like that, it just seems like it's going to all be the same moving forward endlessly.
Well, I think we're seeing a lot of sterilization, a lot less character in style and in everyday art and clothing, that kind of thing. As well, I don't know if it's surrendering itself to practicality as much as just genericism. Everything's becoming dull and plain. It's almost like going to the soup can or to the going to the grocery store and seeing the old generic labels on the soup can. Very rarely do you see something that's really stylized or artistic in packaging or like in clothing. There's just nothing. You'll see some nice prints every once in a while on t-shirts and that are different, but a lot of our clothing has become very
conventional,
generic. Yeah, very, very conventional, very generic. They haven't changed the look or cut of a t-shirt in decades, for example. So you really don't get that style. There's not a lot of people walking around in elephant bell-bottom pants or even tight-fitting. Everything's just gotten kind of
it's disparate
sterilized.
Because you do see that there are people that still wear the bell bottoms, and there's some people that don't wear them.
Very rarely, and they stand out when they do. So
I wish I could find some.
But they're there's so few people that are I don't know, maybe looking back, someone will be like, here's what this age looked like, and there'll be a radical difference, and we'll get moon boots and weird Star Trek uniforms or something in the future. But it just seems like the last 20 some odd years, or maybe even slightly longer, haven't been much change. And it's I don't know, for me it seemed, because that's where the soapbox comes in. It feels a little depressing. I don't know why it feels depressing, but it feels like we stagnated as a culture. And this might be the end.
Stagnation. That's what I was.
Yeah, it seems like we've hit a pause, huh?
Yeah. All I know is that by the 23rd century, we're going to start tucking our pants back into our boots, just like Star Trek 2.
Yeah, you don't want to wear red or beam down to a
No.
planet.
There you go.
I was,
Yep.
I was kind of curious. What do you think, Russ? Have you been listening? Or
Yeah, I was listening.
You've been listening?
I've
He's
been
calling
listening.
you out.
yeah.
One minute I'm abused for saying too much. The next minute it's like you've been quiet too long, Russ. Say something.
Yeah.
But you're the star of the show. It's the Russ Leach show.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
Yeah,
Luke, what do
yeah. Have you
got?
ever thought about the Roman Empire?
There's a coffee company on the shelves of most
I
grocery stores, Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Mm,
A
I
comic
think
book
the
artist does all of their package design. That's cool. Yeah.
I think the Visigoths are at the gates. Put it that way. Maybe they've even got through.
Yeah.
I would almost welcome a barbarian at this point,
Yeah.
just to shake things up.
Let's
Let's
not
go.
go there.
Swords and
Oh,
sorcery.
most
It's the next big thing, mate. This year and next
there
year.
you are.
Swords and
Yep.
sorcery and westerns. They're the
They're
thing. That's what's
literally
coming.
on the cutting edge of it right now. Yeah, Shadow
Yeah.
Kingdom.
I
Fun my comic.
Oh,
I
you
saw a post a little while ago, like a meme where women, or it's like a women are like, ladies, you gotta stop looking at your man about like what type of financial portfolio future he has, but what instead look at him what kind of post-apocalyptic wasteland warlord he's going to be.
Can he start a fire and can he kill people? He's a cat.
Well, Russ, why do you say that? I'm kind of curious why you think that that's the future, the near future in comics. I know things cycle through.
I
Westerns
think if you
come
look
in
at the
and they
rise,
go out.
yeah, I think there's been a slow rise in it. I think as much as I don't think that superheroes are going away, not well written ones anyway.
Right.
There's always a hunger for that kind of heroic story. I think it's built into the Western zeitgeist. I don't see that ever going away.
Mhm.
However, recently, or for the last few years, things like westerns and sword and sorcery and more sort of fantasy stuff hasn't been as big in comics. It definitely has been the superhero genre as far as Western comics are concerned.
And you think
Obviously,
they're
Europe and Japan are a different beast.
Yeah.
But so I think that kind of thing is coming through. I don't think it's just comics as well. I think we're going to see more of that stuff in film because it's cheaper to make. And you can, and there's already westerns coming through, like some really good ones.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see some more Western comics. I think we're going to see a lot more sword and sorcery.
I think
I think that's good because it'll elevate the others. So if you've got a good superhero story, it'll be elevated by the fact that there's more that it's become effectively rarer in the sea of books that are available because more other genres are being investigated.
I think you're also seeing a direct pendulum swing, almost like a zeitgeist change, where folks are starting to realize that there's a need for masculinity just as much as there's a need for femininity.
Yes,
out there.
Yeah. We're going to have big hulking guys.
Japan's
with big
discovered
swords.
that. Yeah. Very curvy, very beautiful women. They're coming back.
Yeah. That whole thing. Yeah, that's what people want to see. They want to return to the classics.
Well, and it's a way for entertainment. Not everybody's going to be grabbing whoever's walking down the street and bed them. That's become commonplace, especially in comics. Everybody's sexuality is out on display, and people are getting tired of that. And now it's time, like what the study showed, that kids today would rather read about friendships than sexual relationships.
Well, the way it used to be,
and companionship. Yeah,
it's like action, not violence. Romance, not sex.
Adventure. You're going to see that swing back. But westerns and sword and sorcery are going to be a part of that. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it's just a matter of it's like the monoculture, isn't it? There's a space for all kinds of comics. It doesn't matter who you are. There's a space for you. Okay, that doesn't mean that every comic has to be for you. That's the problem we've got is that every comic, certainly from corporate comics, has been like it must be for everybody, and in their insane desire to do that, they've driven away your average reader, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a desperate source or a search for entertainment, for escapism. That's the whole thing. It's like Vaughn on Nerd Bacon yesterday, that we're going to see an end to the age of deconstructionism and an age of reconstructionism coming in.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see heroic superhero books again, sword and sorcery books, westerns, but at the same time, you're going to see romance. You're going to see romance of all types, not sexuality attacks, or or betting, as much as relationship and character. Story
Characterization and relationships
Yes.
are most
Well,
important. And let's skip.
deconstruction,
Sorry,
came
just
in the
answering Skip in the
early 80s and lasted about 40 years. So are you kind of predicting another 40 years here of reconstruction?
No, I just
It's
think
a
that there's
pendulum.
going to be a swing. There'll be but I think it will be backwards and forwards, and I think there'll be a mix. The monoculture has got to go away.
Especially now that there's the economy sucks and people are having harder times. You're going to have harder escapism spring up in order for folks to be able to escape it.
It's like I saw a comment the other day about, well, what I really liked about Marvel was that it was the real world, because they were talking about having political entities in the comics, and it's like, no, it wasn't the real world.
No.
All Stan Lee was saying was that it mirrored people. It mirrored the interaction that you would have, so that if you saw someone in a suit, how you would feel. It doesn't mean that you have to have every political and cultural point of argument in your comics. That is not what it means. It doesn't mean you can't have them, but that's not what it means that you have to have them. And that, that's why DC has had trouble, because they've made their world so dark, and it was so full of light, and it's ruined it. Just a side thing to Skip. Yes, I have heard of Rob Delator. Fantastic artist, and he is actually drawing Conan the Barbarian at the moment for Titan. And I think Blaze, is it Blaze that did the Sumerian?
Ablaze, yeah.
Ablaze did that, and I think it's been a slow boil over the last 2 or 3 years of people getting back into that Robert E. Howard stuff and the all that kind of classical writing.
Those Sumerian volumes are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're fantastic.
Stuff.
And then Titan brings that out, and then you've got Savage Sword of Conan, the magazine, the bi-monthly magazine coming out as well, with some serious names in it, and that's looking great. I think there's a wave to be ridden here, and not in a sort of a grabby way. I'm not looking at just riding it for the sake of it. It's like there's opportunity for us to draw. And
what about stylization? Is more stylization going to sell better?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's all part of the escapism.
Yeah, I think it's the antithesis. That's the word, to AI art.
Yeah,
because the problem we have, and this is something that's been happening with artists over the last 20 years, and I was caught up in it as well. And it is this idealism. Like some of the DC artists, some of their work looks hyper real. It looks really cool. It's excellent, beautiful work. But I don't think that's the best way to do comics. I want to see style. I want to see gravitas. I want to see energy and dynamics. And like this, look at this. This doesn't look like real people. Like you were saying, it's almost caricaturish, but it's impressionism, and that's the complete antithesis to AI art, which is kind of like I always wondered. I was always impressed by people who did airbrush paintings, but it was like, why do I want to do a painting that looks like a photograph? I can photograph. I want something that's impressionist. I want something that's living. That's imbuing energy and story to me. That's what I want, so I think there's an opportunity opening up for all of us.
That's why I like doing the Comics by Night here and Sunday Funnies. As you go back and you look at these guys and girls from 70s and 80s, and everybody had an individual look and an individual style. None of it was photorealism. None of it. You could pick up Brave and the Bold and open it up and know it was Jim Aparo just by looking at it, or Frank Robbins. And yeah, as a kid, a lot of those guys doing that, their own individual style, to me really turned me off because they were too cartoony or too goofy looking. Frank Robbins with his drawing legs that have ankles that are up next to the guy's ear, that kind of stuff. But you go back and you look at it now, and it's got so much charm to it. Then that's part of what makes Kirby as great as he is the dynamic look to him, and the fact that he was able to do the simplistic. Alex Toth is really another big example of that, able to cut things down to the most simplest look, or the most individual look. That's why Plug and Kaluta and Wrightson all are such great masters of this stuff, because they worked in their own individual style. They weren't all trying to chase after that photorealistic realism. It's a big
don't
turnoff.
you think, though, that
Can
corporate
I jump in here for a second?
was
Sorry.
a part of that? Like,
oh, absolutely. You go and
because they tell like Rich Buckler and
yeah,
Barry Windsor Smith and Keith Giffen and others like that to mimic and Jim Steranko, Kirby.
Yeah. Well,
And,
a lot of these artists missed the point, though. They didn't want to copy Kirby's style. They wanted to copy Kirby's dynamics.
Right. Yeah.
So-
I mean, even back in the day when Ramita took over for Ditko, it's like, yeah, draw Ditko. And he did that for about 3 issues, and then his own stuff came through.
Nowadays, looking, particularly with the stuff I'm working on, is I was looking for artists that had like a more cartoony style, and it was actually really, really difficult to find the ones that have their own unique style and are doing it in a cartoony, expressive way.
Yeah.
And the ones that, because a lot of them are just trying to basically, copy or do like a realistic or maybe Buscema kind of esque style or whatever.
Yeah.
They're trying to copy, the greats, but the ones that are that do cartoony style or do like their own unique kind of stuff are either are books, like they won't talk to anybody. They'll do, they're getting, $300 a page, so on and so forth, and they're not talking to anybody, and they won't let, it's nearly impossible to get a conversation with these people or get them on a project. And it's really unfortunate because there's like a lot of the same stuff, and like there's a couple, nobody's really, some people are, but nobody's really trying to do this kind of thing anymore. And it's
I would say that
scene.
The majority of the reason those folks don't talk much is that they're busy working.
Yeah.
Adam Hughes, your Frank Cho's, and the people who have there are still great artists out there that have their own individual work. They just don't do enough. Mike Mignola is another prime example.
You look at Frank Cho, and there's a perfect example of someone who's closing in on realism, but has a unique style. You can see Frank Cho's style. Okay,
Yeah.
He jumps out of the page. A lot of the time, it's the way that he draws women. But then, if you look at, say, someone like Buscema and the myriad of inkers who inked over Buscema, you could always spot a Buscema figure, especially women, but also the male figures and the faces, because that was the way Buscema drew.
He was an incredibly powerful penciler, though.
Yes, exactly. So,
so
what
it's
I'm saying is,
it's just like Tom Palmer and inking. Tom Palmer was such a powerful inker
but
that
even
very
Tom
rarely
Palmer,
do you see the pencil style come through.
But even Tom Palmer over Buscema, you saw Buscema.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I'm saying with somebody like Cho is that you can see him through his inks. I'm sure if somebody else inked him, you would be able to see the formation, the way that he puts figures together, the way that they pose. And that's the important thing. It's getting that through. So as much as I agree, like stylistic, whether it's cartoony or whether it's hyper stylized, these are the styles that jump out at you. Okay. And Frank Cho, even though he is more of a realistic artist, his style is still jumping out. and that's
Yeah.
the mark of someone who can draw well, who can tell stories well.
Very true. Back
I
in
saw
our
he
work-
did. I saw some sketches he did the other day, and they were just in biro, like in biro pen, ballpoint pen,
Mhm.
and he'd done all the sort of the curvature lines around the musculature of this woman, and it was just absolutely stunning. And all it was a little sketch. He's
Well,
a fantastic artist.
on Action Comics 1000, he was given they had different artists do different era covers, and his was the 40s cover.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're going to do 40s, you
You
had
better
to
do
be
it right.
you had to come stylized, right?
Yeah.
And he
But-
did. It was one of my favorites out of all
Yeah,
those that they did.
Whiskey's absolutely right. It's like it's those people that are going to stand out. If
Yeah.
all you're doing is trying to reproduce somebody else's work, it's like we just spoke about Rob de la Torre, and he is a fabulous artist, and his work, it's like he's channeling Buscema.
Mhm.
But it's not Buscema, it's him.
Right.
I'd like him to twist it more. I'd like it to make it more his own, personally. But you don't know. Maybe he's been briefed, like, make it look like Buscema. We know you can do Buscema. Make it look like Buscema. So I could totally understand that. From my perspective, if you'd have asked me 10 years ago, you're gonna be able to draw like Buscema, I'd have like bitten. I'd have given you my left arm. Do you know what I mean? I'd have done it. And now it's like, no, I want to be me. I want people to say that's a Russ Leach, not doesn't that look like somebody else? I love the fact that people see other artists as my inspiration. That's incredibly humbling and very it's for someone to say, that you look a little bit like that or a little bit like this artist that I admire is it's incredible. But at the same time, I want people to look at it and go, no, that's you. That's a Russ Leach. So yeah, that's what you want. You want to stand out from the crowd if you can, like this does.
Just one comment on Buscema. I mean, his women look so savage.
They were
even while they were at rest. Just the way he did their eyes and everything. They were ferocious.
Everything he did had a real sort of
visceral
solid feel to it. Visceral. That's the word I was looking for. Visceral feel. Everything he did.
There was a number of artists though like that back during that period. Kubert was like that too.
Kubert, what an artist! Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Especially in his ink style in his later years, just fascinates the hell out of me.
Oh yeah. Where he
just
was
doing
great
stuff.
He was doing like pastel work toward the end of his life. Using not really your traditional comic material to illustrate with. That's used very often in the media. That's what I'm trying to say.
From his 70s, even before that, his war material, I think, is where he really refined that marvelous brush style that he had. Just ideal for Tarzan, in my opinion, and those kind of adventure strips and Sergeant Rock. Just some, really great stuff. Yeah. Like I said, I've got a issue of Tex that he did very close to the end of his life. That's Italian Western series, big over in Italy, Tex. That he wanted to do a story of that, and they gave him a script, and the script itself is very almost horribly simplistic, but the artwork is just amazing. It's beautiful stuff. Anyway, a lot of MC Escher here, I see. With the staircases.
Does anyone know his influences? What he was influenced by? Who he was influenced by?
Not right offhand. There's probably some notice on the Wikipedia page.
I always wonder, who these great artists, who they admired. Was it like Alex Raymond, Bert Hogarth, or was it someone else? You know, even earlier.
See a bit of Eisner, like I said, Eisner there. Some Booth,
Mhm.
maybe. Somebody run up his Wikipedia page and see if there's some influences mentioned in there. Shut up.
I refuse. I am not here to do homework. I am here to learn.
It's not homework.
It's a pleasure.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, he's really conveying more. I mean, very, he uses the lighting, doesn't he? Just to full effect. Shut up.
I wonder what story this is like, because you talked about these being parts, true stories or referencing events in his life. So I'm just kind of curious what part of his life this story came from.
Well, he might have watched this happen in his tenement. It's the street singer here that this person with an opera career gets him set up, and he ends up pretty much wasting away his career. Drinks it out. He turns into a beater.
Gets a bottle over his head.
Yeah.
Wow.
Smack.
What a brutal story.
You broke
It
my
doesn't
bottle.
shy away from it, does it? The violence.
Eddie, it's noon. Please go out and look for a job. Sorry about last night, Sophie. It's okay, Eddie.
No, it's not.
Go, honey. Don't sing.
Run away.
Get a job. Yeah.
Just the dark framing of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a dark scene.
Yeah.
Sun coming up.
It's, going back to her.
It's
abuser.
almost like they're swallowed up by the city.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I mean, I hate to state the obvious, but
Skip is saying apparently Eisner's father was an artist.
Okay, yeah. Do all this for you.
You know, it's good stuff when no one speaks.
Yeah.
And we're just like, I'll go.
He's back at the bar, not going after a job. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're all heart. Say, where does this diva live? Oh my God.
One of the things that this particular era, there'd be jobs everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's the 30s, right? Like the Depression. I mean, well, actually, maybe not. There may not be jobs everywhere, but
there weren't jobs everywhere in the 30s, no.
No, but there might be. It might be. I don't know. It's just hard to say because it might be harder to get a job today than it would be then, or vice versa. I don't know, but there's probably work somewhere that you could probably get.
Yeah.
But during the Depression, there was 100 people applying for the same job.
Yeah, it really was that bad back then.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
is he going to find her?
I forgot it wasn't the third. I forgot it was the 30s and not like the 50s or what have you.
Street singers played a tenement only once, and there were, after all, plenty of alleys. Went back to being a bum.
That woman.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to leave it there, mate.
Gonna have to. Yep.
Yeah. How much more book we got?
We're about halfway into the book.
Oh, so we can do the other half. Good. Okay. Another show.
Another show.
Ho, ho, ho.
This time, maybe Glenn will be able to join us. We'll have great perspective. All right, folks. Skip says Frank Cho is a gateway to Wrightson. Maybe even Franklin Booth. Yeah. Who, Eisner? His dad was an artist. Yep. Folks, that's a Contract with God and other Tenement stories. Graphic novel by Will Eisner. Hope you enjoyed our look here today as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Nice discussion there. Rex, tell people how they can find you.
Devil Flyer on Twitter, Instagram, Rex Christian on Facebook. Do a daily show on YouTube. The 4 o'clock shadow, that's 4 Central in America. You can find my projects up on Indiegogo, the Devil Flyer Black and White Ash Can, which will be coming down soon, and the Devil Flyer prequel magazine that's up on Fund My Comic right now. And if anyone wants a free acrylic standee, with every purchase of a book today till 12:30 today, as a leap year special, they get a free Devil Flyer acrylic standee with their order, plus all the tchotchkes. I think we just unlocked our first stretch go trading card, and there's another full trading card that goes there, and 6 a.m. sticker. So, and everybody gets a free 6x9 head sketch of one of my characters. Here's one I did last night, and
cool.
Here's what I'm working on now. Well, this is more than a head sketch, but
all right. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you come back more often.
Absolutely. I need to give Glenn a hard time.
There you are.
Yeah.
Mike, Jimmy, tell us how they can find you.
You can find me here on the Indie Comics Network with Hung on Animation every Thursday. Yesterday I missed because it was a very hard baby day. And you can find me on Kickstarter again. I launched the pre-launch page for Live on Chorus 7 yesterday. So, yeah, that's coming up. Issues 1 through 7 plus Volume 1. And, yeah, you can find me on the Twitters, on the Instagram, on Facebook. Just anywhere Fairies and Ends, and you will find me.
All right. Whiskey, tell folks how they can find you.
Sure, you can find me on the old X there at the bottom left. Just type that in there and something will pop up. If something does pop up, it might look a whole lot like this, Bandit Ricochet Arts. Or if you click on this link here, you'll see some of my work in 3D modeling, and which kind of looks a little bit like this stuff here. And if you ever need anything made in any particular style, action figures, miniatures, everything, I can do any style, any kind of model you want, anything that you could possibly imagine, any way that you imagine. And if you need it made, just send me a message and I'll get you hooked up.
All right. Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me at sleeps.com. You can find out all about my work there, and you can find out about our latest book, The Shadow Kingdom. I'm just going to pop up the cover for you. That's going to go to crowdfunding later today at fundmycomic.com. Yeah. And what you can do is you can wait for, if you want to, you can sign up for the email list at my website, russleach.com, and I'll tell you as soon as that is available for you to back. We're pretty much a pre-order system because the book's done. So we're just waiting to see who would like to buy it. Hopefully there's plenty of you. There is available. There are there are sketches that I'll be doing. There's also page art available, cover art, and there are also pin-ups as well, small prints. So take a look, and you can find that at fundmycomic.com, but sign up for the email list at russleach.com. There's a couple of pages. There's the cover and some of the advertising, some of the internal spreads. Oh, don't.
That's not it.
That's Hollywood.
That's well,
Yeah,
those 10 panels that always
10
work.
panels, so always good
Yeah.
to reference that kind of thing. There's a bit of Batman. There you go. Oh, there's lots of stuff going on there. There you go. There's some more
There you are.
pages.
There it is.
All right, so you can see what's going on. It's
You're
it's
doing
traditionally
shows for
inked.
this?
It's retro color styling, so it's a bit like the old Conan the Barbarian
There's Life on
comic.
Yeah,
And
sorry. Didn't mean to share that immediately.
hopefully that's
Yes.
something that everybody will enjoy. We're talking about the
Good
sort of
Bronze
sorts of
Age
bit-
coloring.
and we'll be moving on hopefully with the Atlantean. Let's see how you get on with this book, The Shadow Kingdom. It's
Depending
produced by
upon
Arrow.
how this book goes, we want to do a lot more.
Yeah, we
with
want to
these
do a lot more. It's
characters, so
produced
in
by
this
Arrow,
world.
and it's adapted by Randy
looks great.
Zimmerman, the good man in the top corner over there. And you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. We loved producing it. You're going to love reading it.
It's a
It's
lot of
also
fun.
got, sorry, just before we go, it's also
Yeah.
got the complete prose, original prose by Robert E. Howard in it, and additional artwork and commentary. So there you go. It's quite a big book. Check it out.
Production art.
RussLeach.com.
You're going to be on a couple shows today, right? Like promoting it? Any particular shows?
No, not today. I've got some shows lined up for March.
Oh, okay.
So,
This is March.
This is
By the
March.
yeah, I know, but
Yes.
we are not live yet. So
This is March. As soon as we're live,
there's no
we're going to
point
go
in
all
going,
over the place and
there's
push
no
it.
point
Yeah.
in going on a show until the campaign is 100% live, and it's
Just
not
have a
live-
couple of
not
other
turned on yet.
little
When you
tweaks to
have a
do,
day
and then
that
it'll be
you-
on.
Just a
When
couple
you-
of tweaks, and it will be up and
Yeah.
live. So
When
and
you do
then
have
and then
a
I can
day that-
send out the email, and everybody on my email list will know that it's live. They can go to it, and then we'll be sailing the internet over the next 4 to 6 weeks, pumping the hell out of it.
Rex, you were saying?
I was going to say, Russ, hit me up. We'll get you on the show.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I'll
Good.
do that. Yeah.
And
Thank
folks,
you.
I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find my work over at arrowcomics.store, as well as a few other places. You look on Amazon, you can find the War of the Worlds Infestation novel from Caliber. That's mine, and a bunch of other stuff, other places. But arrowcomics.store is my more recent work. Arrow Comics is back. We are a creator-owned company. Very happy to do the best entertainment we can possibly give you.
Can I ask
So-
you a question, Randy?
Sure.
How do you, now that's a vintage comic rack, correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
How do you get your comics in there boarded and bagged?
You just fold them a little bit. Stick 'em in.
Okay, kind of bend, sort of bend
A lot
them
of
little bit.
times they're
Determination. Just shove it.
no, they fit in real good. The Bomba here, Silver
Okay.
Age book, it fits in just fine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, very rarely do I have a board that's so big that I have to bend it. But and a lot of these comics aren't bagged and boarded.
Because weren't they fit to be in the raw? That's
Golden
the
Age
problem. I've got 2 spinner racks, and they're vintage, at least 80s, if not older, and it seems like when I put them in a board in a bag, they won't fit.
here. You just take a
I almost have
pair
to
of-
put them in the raw.
pair of pliers there. And
Oh yeah. Okay.
or don't
it's a wire.
put
It's a
backing board on it,
wire
just put a
rack.
bag
You
on
know?
them.
It's a wire.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't had that problem except for 1 or 2 books, and it's got to be a wide backing board in order for that to happen. So,
Yeah, I mean that Bomba that you had, that's 60s, and
Yeah.
there were kind of 2 sizes with the Silver Age ones. The older Silver Age are a little bit larger than the
yeah.
newer Silver Age that were coming up into the 70s.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything there that's bent.
that's
There might
squeak.
be 1 or 2 of them there.
Yeah, the squeak. I kind of miss
Oh,
that, don't you?
I so desperately want
That's
one
the
of
rack
those.
squeak. Yeah. Got a copy of Dynamite Joe here.
Yeah.
There you go. At
Yeah.
Warfront.
The
Yeah.
Blast Crazy Marine.
That's Harvey, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Love the oddball stuff. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, we love doing all sorts of different things here. We are archived over in the Indie Comics Network, the Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel, the Randy Zim YouTube channel. We've been doing Comics by Night for over a year now, showing off great stuff. There's so much great sequential art out there, folks, for you to find. Just go to your retailer and look at those boxes, usually closest to the floor, maybe even have a little dust on them. Those old black and white magazines has got some real great
Oh,
treasures in it. The old silver, golden age books, always great stuff. So if the current corporate stuff isn't to your liking, definitely go back and be entertained by the older stuff. There's so much great things there. And like I said, just look at our archive at your leisure. We know the majority of our viewership doesn't get up at 5 in the morning. And we're watched a lot all through the weekend. And we're very happy that you do. If you enjoy this program, tell your friends. We'd love to have them on board as well. Add a comment to whatever platform you're watching us on. Add a like or a love. If you can, send stars over to the Indie Comics Network. That's how they're going to pay their expenses, is by they're now monetized over there on YouTube, and they want to try to at least get enough money to cover their expenses every year. So please go send them some stars. Again, we deeply appreciate you being here. It's time for us to run. Sunday morning, we're looking at Will Eisner's New York graphic novel. Next Friday morning, we'll cover the last half of A Contract with God here and go through that. And then after that, the rest of the month is going to be dedicated, I think, to Barbarians. So I've got Fafford and Grey Mouser by Mike Mignola. We've got I've got a 3-part Conan arc that was done by P. Craig Russell that is just gorgeous to look at, and there's so much more to come. If there's anything that you want us to take a look at, make sure you add that to your comment here. That says tell Russ to do draw streams. I
think I may well do in the next month. What I might do is I might prepare some of the
you probably should, yeah.
Some of the sketches. I've got some A4. One of the rewards on the crowdfunder will be a book and an original piece of art, just A4, smaller one, original sketch. So I might do those, get some prepared, because they'll all be characters from the book.
That'll be great. Levi says, thank you for another great show. Thank you, Levi, for being here. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Everybody.
Deeply appreciate you. And do take care. Have a great weekend. If you are in the mid-Michigan area, I will be at the Midland Mall show Saturday and Sunday. All day at the Midland Mall. You can't help but see it. The show takes over most of the mall. Find me in the mall. Tell me that you saw this show and that you know you deserve a free comic, and I will give you a free comic. Stop by.
Plenty Only Death Can Save Us, I would imagine you can give away.
Yes. Some great Russ stuff. Some great copies of Revolt. I'll be happy to give you a comic. Just stop by. Tell me that you saw the show. Deeply appreciate you watching. Everybody take care. We'll see you soon.
Stay awesome, lovelies.
That's for Tanya.
Buy independent and alternative comics, especially
ours.
There we are.
Ciao.
Holy shit. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
This is the divine intervention. You could become a spiritual guru on your own, but you just have to tie your shoes, and you just have to know how to eat burritos backwards.
Joke's on you, bitch. I love this shit.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.